And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Traveling up. Roger, roll, Atlantis.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside of speed off. Bring in SPD off. Off. It's orange!
Orange 25! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage. Look at this! Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go. Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting with the flare, correct?
Yikes. You bet. Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Hello, everybody. Booster side chat time. Should we do a booster side chat? This is a live dedicated live stream, of course, but instead of a Raptor side, we thought, well, this is kind of more important. We could do a dedicated live stream for this because it is a victory parade for Booster 12. Guess what? They caught it. They caught the booster. It's true. It happened. This is now rolling back after flying in space and coming back and being caught by the chopsticks. Amazing. So we're going to do a live dedicated commentary. Thankfully, it's not just me rambling on. We have help. Starting with Mr. Ryan Webber. Hello, Mr. Ryan.
I was wondering who you were going to pick first.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. Yeah, Booster 12 rolling back. It's kind of weird because it launched and now it's rolling back because they caught it. They caught a booster, everyone. They caught a booster.
You caught it. Yeah, the reason why I went to you first is you're the first person who's not muted. So I was just checking who we got with us. Also joining us is Mr. Sawyer Rosenstein. Hello, Rose Sawyer.
Hello, Chris. I'm not muted. I'm here. I'm excited. It's nice to see this roll back and see where it goes from here.
And we might have from the field live with eyes on D. Hello, D.
Hello, how do you hear me? It is a gorgeous afternoon out here, and watching this booster move and watching it get lifted up already this afternoon was so cool, and I can't wait to see this thing roll by. A flight-proven booster. They caught it.
Very exciting indeed, yes. And you did sound great. So well done with the comms there. The comms links, because Starbase is not easy. It really isn't. It's not the greatest for internets, as we've been challenged with our cameras over the years. But thankfully, we have the technology. A bit of a reference to the old 80s TV shows there. We might have Roger. I don't know. We didn't preempt this, so I might be just forcing this on Roger. Roger, if you are able to mute and just say hello, that'll be fine. I don't know if you can or not. I'm going to give it a second and just see. No, I think Roger's going, Chris is calling on me. Why? We didn't play.
Oh, no. There I am.
Is he?
Hi, everybody.
That'll do, Roger. We didn't plan this. I just saw your name in things. I thought, well, I'll call you just in case you can actually just say hello. Roger's also there, eyes on with this booster, so it's really kind of cool. We've also got Max there, we've got Jack there, we've got Mary there. Of course, Mary's there. Mary's always there. So we have a full team still there, which is really cool. So we're going to be able to follow this via our bots and via cameras as well. We're going to have enhanced views all the way, including the production site. So hopefully this will all be happening in front of our eyes right now. I still see it moving, so that's pretty good. It's going to pretty much roll to the right and then come out of the gate, isn't it, Ryan? I'm trying to get my bearings here because this is pad 1.
Yeah. It's gonna roll to the right from this, and go out the new entrance that was built after they moved, just before they moved Starhopper, and then it'll roll down Highway 4, and it is expected to go into Mega Bay 1. I gotta see if the doors, and the door is open. Mega Bay doors 1 is open, so I'm gonna guess it's gonna go in there, probably onto a stand. And for those of you who saw Elon tweet, they in response to Chris, in fact. They're going to take some of these, Chris moving up in the world. Yeah. They're going to take some of these engines off and take them to McGregor and fire them, or at least try to. So this is going to be fun.
Which is kind of fun because it is what I betted on. I was kind of like, we had a poll option before flight saying if they catch it, and they have caught it, if they catch it, what they're going to do with it? Will they refly Booster 12, which is a lot, no, that's never going to happen. Will they take it apart? Well, that'd be sad. Will they dissect it and take the engines off and refire the engines at McGregor and try and get some good data? And that was my thought. So when Elon, on the actual day of flight, pardon me, but I'm just going to have to cough for a second. There we go. I didn't want to cough on mic. That's very rude when you do that. So I was quick mute and then quick cough and then back. So basically, I thought when Elon posted his pitch on the end of flight day and he visited the pad and said the engines look pretty good apart from some entry heating or whatever, I just didn't ask him a question. I just posted it'd be great if they could get the engines off ticking McGregor, and he agreed with it. So basically, that's what they're going to do. They're going to take some engines to McGregor and fire them up. Now, they have got engines from B-11, which they've taken out of the ocean, or the Gulf of Mexico, I should say. And hopefully they're getting some good information from dissecting them, but they will not fire again. They are dead engines now. Whereas these engines have got every chance of refiring. So that's where the good data comes from. And then obviously they might get some more from Booster 13 if they get a catch. And the big question here, I want to ask everybody, including, by the way, if you've got any questions in chat, just do NASASpaceflight in chat and then followed by your question. I'll go into our panel. We'll answer as many questions as I can during this rollback. But the question I want to ask, starting with Ryan, is when do you think the next flight will happen, Flight 6?
If you take into account pad refurb times, which there shouldn't be any added time for it. So it's usually about a month and a half is usually what they take to get it ready for a flight. Maybe about a month for a static fire. Plus maybe any changes they make to Booster 13's aft, kind of try to mitigate the bell warping issue that they have, because some of those outer 20 engines, those bells are a little bit warped. And of course, they got to replace the whole heat shield on 31. It could be 6 weeks. I mean, they could do it in end of November. Early December. I wouldn't put it past them.
I mean, this is where we are now. The risk before starting this conversation about when the next flight will be was always going to be a case of, well, what if they damage the launch site with the return of the booster? And that was the scary thing. That was the main caveat to when we'd probably see Flight 6. From all intents and purposes, it looks like the launch pad is in very good condition. Would you agree, Sire?
Yeah, I mean, from everything we've seen, it looks absolutely spectacular. It doesn't seem like it would need that much work. I guess there may be some other underlying smaller things that we'll see as they work on the pad over the next weeks, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we see Flight 6 by the end of the year. Knowing Elon, he's going to want to push further within the next month, but I could see December easily happening.
I think a big caveat for me, I'm gonna tell you what, D, because you're on good comms, I'm gonna send you a question. When do you think Flight 6 will happen, D?
You know, that's a really good question. I just got done carrying my tripod over to a new location. Probably December, but I want to be optimistic and say November. Like,
Right.
I think they're going to go for a rapid attempt here.
Very good. You should tell me if you're doing stuff and I won't call on you. That's very rude of me to call on you in the middle of a tripod transfer. That's really rude, so I won't do that. I'll be very careful. Please let me know if you'll be busy and I won't be calling on you, because we do like to hear from you, D, but definitely I think the photography involved in this, in the videography of this, is more important than me asking you questions like, when do you think Flight 6 will happen? But I'll give my own opinion. My own opinion is going to be based on when they static fire Booster 13, right? Then I'll give you an answer. I think that, for me, is key. We've heard there's potential of a flight pretty soon. We know before even this flight was happening that NASA would like to see a fast turnaround. We know that SpaceX would like to do a fast turnaround because they want to prove a point. Remember, it all goes back to the fact that they've got the FAA approval for this Flight 6, providing it's the same profile which we all expect. They're also, I'm not copying out Dan, I'm reading chat at the same time, so when you say Chris cop out, I will read it out. And Daniel, I know him, Daniel, he's teasing me a little bit, but I'm not going to cop out because I want to see this Booster 13 static fire. When that happens, all bets are off on how fast they can then have the turnaround. I think that's when the key is. The turnaround of when they have both vehicles static fired, how fast they can get them ready to full stack. We know they don't need to do a wet dress rehearsal now, apart from a mini one. They don't need to do a full one. In fact, Ryan, I'm going to bring you on this one. Do you think the days of a full wet dress rehearsal are over now, based on Flight 5's timeline? And do you think they only need to do a partial one from now on?
I mean, I'll even say this: there shouldn't be any changes to the tank farm right now. The only thing that they're going to add to it is basically going to be some more capacity, and then they'll probably add a set of pumps and subcoolers for Pad B. Assuming they don't do any more changes, although they might it looks like they're going to add some horizontal tanks where the old vertical tanks were, but assuming there's nothing else major, they may even forego a partial tanking test. There's even a solid chance that we could be close to them stacking and just flying. I wouldn't be surprised they do that, because as we've seen, and again, they surprise us again, they have not scrubbed due to tank farm issues or vehicle issues. I mean, once. They did it once on Flight 1, and that was it. And they haven't done it since. So they seem to have nailed down this tank farm. They may not even need a tanking test next time, Chris.
Very good. This very, very dodgy bitrate view is actually thanks to D. It is kind of cool that he's right close up to it, but we've got to get, obviously, this is going to be a really dodgy connection for this one, so I don't know how long we'll keep this view. But yeah, that's D's view. So thanks to D out in the field for being up close and personal and providing this this nice view here. But yes, I want to thank some people while we're here, because this is always bonkers, the amount of support we get. Matt came straight in with 20 Red Team memberships. Thank you, Matt. You've got your own Matt. Hats off to Matt. Hang on, let's do it. Matt. It's Command and then Matt. You can all join in with this, by the way. Matt, thank you, Matt. Very much appreciated. Brianna Matthews, a name I see all the time, gifted 5 Red Team memberships. We have Chris Henry, who gifted a Red Team membership. Again, that's just amazing. That you've literally, Chris, given someone a free membership for a month. And it might be an exciting month still, even though the flights happen, because the preparation for Flight 6 is going to start real soon. Astronaut, if I media, Nathan, thank you very much. You're in again. IFT 5 is now my favourite launch. The wife and kids absolutely loved it. It was great meeting Team NSF at remote setup on Saturday. Oh, so you went down there. Nice one. Brilliant. I know you said you were looking to go down there. Awesome. 80 HD Gaming. Just think about the amount of data SpaceX has gathered from each boost, from the booster catch. Yes, I mean, massively. Massively. I mean, on so many things as well. It's not just a return, it's a controllability. It's the chopsticks, the calibration of the chopsticks. A big hat tip to booster to B14.1 for taking the slaps, because that's how they calibrated the sticks. Also, the engines, the 3 Raptors with the TVC. I didn't see the grid fins moving that much, so it was really mainly on the TVC of the Raptors, which was really cool. And then the everything to do with basically safe in the vehicle. It was just brilliant. Everything was real good data points. This is a great view, by the way.
I feel like
that's a really cool view.
Oh,
God, sorry.
I was going to say, I think the thing with the grid fins also is that they're better a little bit higher up, but especially the fact that once you get near that tower, if you still had those wiggling and you accidentally bump into the arm or the tower itself, that could have caused a bad day. So I could see why they weren't used that much. I guess the question even also is, how much use are they, and would it be better to maybe just not have them for future versions if the TVC is that good?
Well, they're good for bringing him back in. And if you look at the camera from the catch point angle, from the booster angle, I should say, you'll see it actuating, but as soon as the booster switches from 13 to 3 engines, the grid fin straightens out and locks and doesn't move anymore, because all they need is the 3 centers once they're close enough to the stick. And plus, at that low speed, the grid fins don't really do much anyways.
Oh, I could do it, Alex. Oh, there's the chime.
I don't know what happened there. It happened right as they ignited, so there might have been some gas buildup, and it went blue. Maybe a line exploded, or I don't know. If you the funny thing in terms of marks on the vehicle, if you were to look up just under the catch points, you can see like imprints on the top of the tank, like where the vehicle bounced in between the bumpers. It's kind of funny. You can see the impressions that the bumpers left on the booster. It looks so cool. The battle scars of coming back.
Yes.
That view was provided by... I'm going to get this in if it kills me. That view was provided by D. D provided that view. Thank you, D, because you're out there in the field and you got a real nice close-up of the chine, or lack of chine, as the case may be. But yeah, Ryan, you were right to talk about it as we were looking at it. So thank you for that, Ryan. So I'm just teasing. But this is also a cool view. This is the SpaceX sign. And I'm going to call this a victory parade. Chat, do you agree? Should we call this a victory parade? And I'm sure some anti-Elon and anti-SpaceX people will go, SpaceX fanboy, call it a victory parade. But I'm telling you right now, let's face it, this has been a massive achievement. And I don't care, because it was. So there we go. More thanks. Annette. Bideford, thank you, Bideford. A massive tip. You've done a tip. That's awesome. Thank you. Hugs all. I mean, you could have done like a $1 one and said that, because that we'd have still read it out and thanked you because you're a massive supporter. You did a massive tip instead, but that was awesome. Thank you very much, Bideford. That is awesome. I'm going to put your command in there as well, because you've got your own command, because you are so regular. But there we go. I got beaten to it even there. So that's how well you know. Ninja Decimator, pew pew pew, actually did the command on my behalf, but we've got 2 commands in there now, so that's even better. Sean, could you maybe talk about the next major milestones for the program and when they may happen? Oh, that's a good question, because we are talking about Flight 6 probably being a repeat of Flight 5. And we make that sound like, oh, they're going to do the same thing. The same thing will be astonishing. Let's face it. We can't go wrong. Everything they're doing right now is going to be interesting. But next major milestone, Ryan, what do you think the next major milestones will be? I mean, V2, but maybe mission, Starlinks? What do you think?
Well, for the next flight, it's going to be try to repeat the catch and have the booster be, survive a little bit better, as in maybe not as damaged, the heat shielding as much, don't blow out a chine, that kind of stuff. In terms of the ship, try to not get any burn through on the flap, although that problem's already solved on Block 2. Try a Raptor relight in space, get to orbit, and deploy Starlinks. And after that, it's try to become... once they've started deploying Starlinks, then you need to okay, now we need to make a Starship that can do other customer payloads, and then we need to make tankers and depots. So they're getting to the point in the program where they're gonna have to start making other variants sooner rather than later. But yeah, that was a zoom in on the booster QD from
D. Yeah,
from D.
It looks okay as well. Sawyer, have you got any thoughts on upcoming milestones? You can go further into the future as well, because we can talk about Starlinks as an obvious upcoming milestone. We can talk about, the ship obviously is a future thing where they're going to catch you. What's your thoughts on major milestones we've got for the program coming up?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is also then going to be catching the ship now that they've proven that they can catch the booster. Obviously, an orbital flight, a fully orbital flight, will be a milestone, hopefully, that we see sooner than later, potentially with V2. And then, I mean, the biggest thing I'm looking for now, especially, is progress with HLS. Finally get to see maybe one of the lunar landers, see one of the actual in-flight tests of the fuel transfer, the tanking tests in space. Those are the milestones I'm really excited about.
Very good point. Yeah, I mean, again, we can go right into the future here. We're talking about milestones coming out of our ears. I say that without being funny, because we do. I mean, we have everything from not just Starlinks, but other payloads. By the way, there's Hopper. It's going to be a great view passing Hopper this.
A salute.
A salute, yeah. They should have done that. They should have painted some googly eyes on Hopper.
Oh my gosh!
A salute to a job well done. You came back. You landed like I did.
Yeah,
well, not exactly like Hopper did, but
They should have written "Welcome to the club" on it.
Oh, that would have
That'd
been
be the
good.
ultimate thing. I just thought about that. I should have thought about it earlier. Welcome to the club.
Over Hopper.
Or just do like a tick mark every time that it catches. It's like, see, it's because of me. Here's another one.
Actually, I'm really glad they've not moved Hopper again because there was the potential that Hopper was going to be moved to the production site at some point and might still happen, but at least for this flight and probably still for Flight 6, because I don't think there are any plans to move it just yet. We're going to have that view from Danger Lot because there is a screenshot and we are trying to work with it to do more with it. The screenshot of a zoomed back. D, help me out with the terms here, but it was like a wide shot where Hopper and the caught booster was in the same shot, and it looked like Hopper was just like admiringly looking at the booster.
Well, not to spoil footage that hasn't quite been released yet, but there may or may not be both launch and landing video that I captured from Danger Lot with Hopper in the foreground. And I also want to say Hopper is pretty well secured to the concrete there. We were able to get right up underneath it during our remote camera setup. So looking at the legs, it looks like they've got stuff down in the concrete holding it in place. So I would not be surprised in the slightest if it stays there for a good long while.
Awesome. That's good news because Hopper is very much in our mindset, especially everyone. I'm going to ask chat now for a quick sort of like, not a poll, I'm just going to ask people just push yes or no. Were you around during the tests of Hopper? How much have you been around watching Starbase coverage? It doesn't have to be with us. Could have been with Tim or anyone like that. But how long have you been around watching since Hopper? Because that was amazing. I still remember it. I still remember the hops to this day. Look at chat. Most of you, because I do expect quite a lot of new people, especially with the super heavy testings and what have you, to have joined in because it's made the news a lot more now. I remember Hopper didn't really make the news in the mainstream media. I really remember that. Didn't make too much noise in the mainstream media, whereas these are. I mean, these really are. The catch has as well. I mean, big time. It was all over the place. Even Mr. Ryan Caton got accosted by the BBC to do an interview. It was really good. He did really well, by the way. He did really well. It was a good piece by the BBC, to be fair to them as well. They represented it very well. They got a lot of telemetry. We got a very old render of super heavy, but apart from that, it was really good. So he did really well. On the speed
calling it an acronym that used SLS, but yeah.
Oh, that was right. Yeah, they called it the Starship Launch System. I was like, hey, I remember that. Hey, careful now. Don't start upsetting Boeing. Look at this. This is a view from D.
Nice trailer.
It's trailer. Oh, D. Yeah. D can get... D's there, and D's helped the trailer. I'm giving it to D. There we go.
It looks in really good shape. You know, it really does. I think some tweaks to that engine shielding down there and to the Raptors themselves. Can start reflying these things.
I mean, this feels like just rollback after, maybe doing a fueling test, a tanking test, a static fire or something. Not, oh yeah, this launched.
Yeah.
It does. We've had many rollbacks after testing at the launch site, and they've gone back to production site for a bit of tweaking before going back out again for their launch campaign. It does feel like that. You're right, Sawyer. But this time round, anyone joining who's been under a rock for the past week, this time, hello, where's that camera going? Camera on loose. Maybe it's horse cam. Horse cam's got spooked. But yeah, it's funny we should mention that. I'll get onto this if it kills me because it's my own fault. I'm rambling. We have questions related to what we were just talking about. First of all, Richard Simpkins asked, will they refit and refly Booster 12? I'm going with no. Quick yes, no answers from Ryan and Sawyer. Ryan first, will they refly Booster 12?
No, they're not going to refly this one.
Sawyer?
Refly, no. Test, I hope.
Okay. Now, the reason why I asked that question is, well, first of all, it's a question. We'll answer all the questions, and it's a perfectly valid question. The second one that followed it straight away was from Thug Gamer. Do you think they will catch Booster 13 and then refly Booster 13, Ryan?
Oh, what? They reflew the second Falcon 9 they landed, right? Was it 21, right? I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, maybe. I'll put it as a maybe. It depends on if they solve the Raptor bell warping issue, because if you saw any of the shots when they lifted it or when it was just hanging in the sticks, you could see some of the outer 20 Raptor bells were pretty warped. So yeah.
What do you think, Sawyer? Do you think they'll refly Booster 13 if they catch it, which I assume they hopefully will, based on what they've had experience of so far?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to go ahead and say it all depends on the test results that they get from B12 here. I would hope, because I believe you actually tweeted about it in terms of getting those engines tested at McGregor, to which Elon replied with the 100 emoji. So I think depending on what that engine test shows, and also being able to fix that warping on those engines on the return part, I think they could do it. But my guess would be Booster 14.
Very good, yeah. By the way, Elon has replied to me before, you know. It's not like the first time he's ever replied to me. Making it sound like some achievement where I get an award or something through the post.
Well, yeah,
Elon replied to you, Chris.
Between you and Ryan Caton, you just get replies all the time from famous people.
He's actually subscribed to us, never mind following us. He's like,
Yeah.
wow. Yes, anyway.
Well, there's something really cool
Yes.
to see. When you look at the top of the booster, you can literally see the burn marks and the discoloration from the hot staging. It's really, really cool. Like if you were to look right at the, zoom in right at the top of the booster itself, you can see the discoloration in the stainless steel, and then you can also see the burn marks there. It's a little burnt.
Oh my god,
a little bit.
you're right.
Oh yeah, look.
It looks
Look
so
at
cool.
that.
That's a nice spot.
Yeah, it looks really, really cool.
Right,
Not gonna lie.
question.
Mhm.
We know that the Falcon 9 boosters come back sooty. Do we think several uses of a booster, when they get into the kind of same reusability as they do with Falcon boosters, do you think their soot will actually not be soot, it'll be burn marks?
I'm getting shuttle thermal blanket vibes for some reason.
Yes!
I think that's what it'll
battle
basically
scars.
be like.
Yeah.
The battle scars of re-entry, which is what you got on the orbiter. We've been doing Shuttle Sunday. This wasn't planned to promote Shuttle Sunday. It was just a perfect jump off with Sawyer's reference there. Is we've been covering such as the first flights of the orbiters. We've gone through the first flights of Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, and Atlantis so far. And we've gone through the Palmdale photographs of where they were constructed and then rolled out and sent to KSC on the back of the SC8s. And they are so white and shiny and brand new looking. They look brand new. And now you look at these orbiters in retirement, at their retirement centers, and you can see how they've got the battle scar almost like at an angle across the payload bay, the cargo bay area of the TPS, the white thermal blankets, where they've conducted their re-entries. So I'm wondering if we'll get the same kind of battle scars based on what we just saw there with the boosters, or maybe it was because it was the first booster to be caught and they'll probably refine how they come back and they'll be less fiery and less burny. What do we think?
Well, the thing is those burn marks are basically because of the hot staging. So they hot stage, so the hot staging takes the brunt of it, but the booster starts its flip right away. So there's a little bit of time for the Raptor exhaust from the ship to basically hit the booster as well. I don't think that's ever going to change. I think it'll stay that way. So over time, the top of the booster will get a little more burnt each time. However, it won't be like sooty like Falcon because it doesn't use kerosene, it uses methane. Methane burns a lot cleaner. So I think it's just going to be burn marks over time, and the top of the booster is just going to have battle scars as it goes. And it might be even easier to clean. So, yeah.
I think the only thing that might potentially change that is if they decide to make the hot staging ring a permanent fixture. But even still, there will be some battle scarring there.
I see us going a little around the bend now. Round the bend, not mentally. I mean, round the bend of Highway 4. So we are making good progress here. I do like this test stand. It just looks so impressive. I like the spider one for the ships. We've got to Masses as well. That's an awesome test stand. But this is a great view because we are seeing it literally returning to the production site we can see in the far distance there. So this is really cool to see. Again, this is the first time this has ever happened. This is a flight-proven booster that's been caught by the chopsticks and returned. And we're going to take as many of your questions as possible. So I'm going to start hitting them as much as I can.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Speaking of Flight 6, there's a aerial work platform working on the nose cone of actually, speaking of Flight 6 as a whole, right there is working on the nose cone of Ship 31, and there is booster 13 all the way in the corner over there, and in Mega Bay 1 and High Bay. So you got Flight 5 that just came back, and you got Flight 6 vehicles in a full view. So it's kind of cool. It's like, what's up next?
Kind of related, Harry Faulkner asks, will they bother with another V1 launch or go straight to V2? I think they're definitely going to go with Ship 31 and Booster 13 on Flight 6. I think that is pretty much nailed on now. They've static fired Ship 31. It's having its TPS done. It'll be ready to go. And we do fully expect that Booster 13 will go to the orbital launch mount and get static fired, and then they'll launch that duo. I would probably say the next question is, the next flight after that will be the first V2 ship, won't it, Ryan?
Yeah, my guess is 33 will fly on Flight 7. I don't think they're going to skip 31. They're working on the heat shield right now, which tells me they're flying it. SpaceX, when they static fired it, they even called it the Flight 6 ship. So I think they're going to fly it. There's no reason not to. There would be even a bigger delay if they didn't fly it. So, and with them seemingly wanting to do another fast turnaround, they have to fly 31 if they want to fly in the next month or two. So,
Plus, the license allows for that.
Yeah.
If you go to the V2, that's a whole nother issue with the license.
Yeah, they would have to do another modification because Block 2 is a lot different than Block 1 in a lot of ways.
Yeah, very good point there, Sawyer, because the good thing about this next flight is they're not going to be doing lots of tweets on X saying, pending regulatory approval. They've got it. They've got it. I mean, this is all on SpaceX now. And that is where I'm kind of thinking they'll be really looking to do a fast turnaround just to prove the point that when they're not held back by regulation, they can really go for it. That'd be very, I mean, it's an assumption on my part. Look, no one said that. It's an assumption on my part, but it's very SpaceX-y. It's very Elon-y, isn't it? Let's face it. They want to prove a point. Everything about Flight 5 was that as well. The go for catch. I can imagine some companies not really taking the risk. Say risk carefully. They obviously had good data to know they had a very good chance of it, but it was very SpaceX-y that they would go for the catch and actually pull it off as well. So that's all within standard of their brief, shall we say. Andrew Greaves asks, goals for Flight 6, Starship orbit and re-entry burn. So we are thinking, based on assumptions, that it will be mirroring Flight 5 and just looking to validate everything they've done on Flight 5 to Flight 6. Do we think that they can do any other modifications to Flight 6 within the regulations as well, the FAA side of things, that would be different than Flight 5, Ryan?
They may do within the regs. They could do some more modifications to the heat shield to try to, try more things out. Because with it being the last Block 1 ship, and you already got changes to the heat shield on Block 2, you might as well experiment a little bit, but don't experiment too much that you lose the ship and then have to have a mishap investigation. So, obviously make sure it still works. But, and then in terms of that, they could definitely do an in-space burn with 31, maybe even a payload bay door test. I don't know. Try to get as much as you can out of 31. Since, yeah.
That's right. We had the payload bay test, didn't we, on the first attempt? Well, they got the ship actually not blowing up. They got the ship out there. And we've not really seen anything of that since, have we?
Yeah, the only thing we've seen is that Ship 33 has got a more beefier payload door compared to the Block 1 ships. I don't think they've done anything to Ship 31's payload bay door, at least not that I've seen. So they may not actually do that. They may just wait till Block 2 to try that out.
Yeah, I also don't think they want it getting stuck again when they try and close it and then run the risk of losing your heat shield testing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. It's all, I actually really love this because we are watching SpaceX test the world's most powerful rocket ever, and by some factor as well. And we're getting to watch it live. Sorry, I'm going to bring us back to Shuttle. We had NASA TV, and you were lucky in the days of the internet to get 240p on real. Anyone old enough in here in chat to remember Real Player? It's like Windows. It was like VLC, but it was like literally the first internet version of a player. I was watching NASA TV clips on Real Player at 240p, and I was thinking, this is the best thing ever. This is like amazing. I am literally watching live views of Shuttle, and I'm watching live recorded videos of the space shuttle in real time almost. And this is amazing. Now we're getting so much. I mean, also thanks to our team as well for what we provide, like 24/7 and what have you, and the other ones who do live streams as well. You know, everybody, the combination of assets that are out there now to follow this program. For the average viewer, they can go around all different channels and whatever, you get all these content. Is incredible. I mean, we never had anything close to that during Shuttle, did we, Sawyer?
No, definitely not. I do remember, by the way, when they had added a second option, not just Real Player, but it worked with Windows Media Player, and then I could have it running in the corner. I thought I was the coolest thing. But yeah, you were basically reliant upon, hey, here's the views you're getting. If you don't like them, too bad. It's nice now just to be able to see absolutely everything, find out all these little details. It's amazing how much it's evolved. But then again, I think it really shows just how much our space programs have evolved from this is only government and you get what you get to, in a way, the people's space program.
Yeah, I am reading chat. Yes, I did burn things to disk. That was actually, I can go older than that. I used to record my programs to tape. I was Commodore 64 era. Yeah, that was fun. Anyway, Caucasian Sensation. What a username. Brilliant username. Oh, yeah, they're definitely going for a quick turnaround. After all, it's their business model. Love all the footage and keep it coming. Thank you for that. It was a super chat, and it was just worth mentioning anyway, because it's really a good point. The fast turnaround, the quick turnaround, I really do think it's a big thing. I think they're going to go for it. It's going to be fascinating to see if they can pull it off, but I think they definitely want to go for it. Phil, thank you for your support. All I can spare. Phil, first of all, right, it starts off, I'm going to read it all out, and I'll come back to this. All I can spare. Coverage has been amazing. Thank you for such great jobs. They caught the booster. Yes, thank you, Phil. Yes, very good point at the end there. All I can spare. First of all, don't ever do super chats if you can't spare it. We'll be fine. We've got a massive community here, and their community is very supportive. I would say if you're the first time here and you're a guest and you just like the video, that's you helping us. You pass it on. You post it in places where you talk about space. Say, oh look, these guys doing live coverage. That helps us. Everything helps us. I would not for a moment expect people to start throwing money at this. And the fact that people do is incredible. And it really does make it work for us, because YouTube on its own would not be viable. We would not be able to do all this. It costs too much to do it. It really does. So please never do super chats if you're even close to saying all I can spare. I really don't want you to do that. Everyone being in here is a combination. It all helps. That was I wasn't planning that. That was a long rambled speech, but yeah, I'm sure you get what I mean by that. I do appreciate that disposable income is not a thing most people have. So please just think, if you can like it, a video, that's free. And it helps. It does add up. It does help. So thank you. Anyway, I'd rather be flying the next wing. Sorry, I went very long-winded there. Rather be flying the next wing. They still have had plasma burn through on the flaps. Okay, yeah. Albeit much less than last time. How much do you think they need to update the TPS? I think they may go for a long pole on Flight 6. Great job on the coverage. Well, thank you for your kind words. So yeah, we know all about TPS, don't we?
We know quite a bunch, yes.
What's your thoughts on what we've seen with the burn through and the potential mitigation of that with, say, the V2 ship? Do you think do you think, like me, it's actually quite a good thing because they're getting very important data on how to probably fix it?
I think so. I mean, the biggest thing was basically saying, hey, let's take apart the entire heat shield and reapply it for ship 30. And it looks like for the most part it worked. There were a couple tiles potentially that popped off, but just like with Shuttle, it's a matter of where it falls off being the critical point. As for that flap that you're talking about, that's something I'm sure they immediately went to working on with V2, and maybe they can test a tweak to it for Ship 31 just to say, hey, prove a point or prove what they're working on next is going to help prevent that burn through, since we've now seen it 2 flights in a row. But I mean, I don't think it needs that much upgrading. I think what they did to Ship 30 looks like it worked pretty well.
It does, yeah. I have just perked Jay, who, by the way, I'm notorious for getting production. I do it every single time. Thank you to Jay in the background, who's helping produce this. Literally, he's producing this. And I perked Jay asking for this view from a hotel, which is awesome, because it's a progress bar. I class it as a progress bar. You've got your 2 towers on the left, you've got Booster 12 in the middle, and you've got a production site on the right. So that's your progress bar. So we could do a time lapse of that. I'm sure Alice is probably thinking about a time lapse. But that is a view from a hotel across the water in South Padre Island. And there's the weather. But I forget. It's an Aerostat. That's it. Aerostat. I used to get told off for calling it a weather balloon. It's an Aerostat. That is border control on the right hand side, which is really cool. It's resting right now, but normally it's up in the air. But that's cool. Thank you, Jay, for doing that. And thank you for producing, Jay. I'm going to make sure I not forget every single time. I always give a call out to people who's talking and forget about the production. I'm terrible. Rubbish boss. Anyway, Rocket Fella. Hi, Bob. That's the message. Bob. So everybody's got to do that now, yeah? Everyone in chat, hi, Bob. It's the reference to For All Mankind. Haven't they got another series coming out? Garrett Reisman's a divisor on that. I'm sure he was saying they were going to do another season.
Yeah. Season 5 I believe it was greenlit. Should be coming soon. Nice.
I do like that. Very good show. Apocalypse Cow, Danger Moo, gifted 5 red team memberships. Always supporting us. Thank you, Apocalypse Cow. It's very much appreciated. Click on it. Work. Thank you, there we go. Damien Williams, in the consensus, SpaceX detonated the explosives on board Starship at the end to prevent anyone from salvaging it. Oh, right, yeah. To steal the tech. Right, so we saw the boy cam, which we're hoping we're getting more footage of, because SpaceX have been throwing out bangers of footage left, right, and centre over the past day or so. And we did see on the live stream of ships landing that after it hit the water and it toppled over, we got to boy cam, and boy cam picked up the explosion. Now, do we think that was on purpose, Ryan?
I think it tipped over and some of the transfer tubes snapped and it blew up. They didn't set off the FTS. I think it tipped over and blew itself up.
Very good. So that's related to the question there, but yeah, that's perfect. What is that cop car doing?
I don't know.
That cop car was doing like a slalom. That was quite funny.
I think I've seen that on police chases, certain car chases, because we don't like those at all here at NSF. It's like control.
If anyone that wants to know what I was going on about, go back to 10:40, and he was like in an F1 race doing the chicane. It was quite impressive. I was just showing off in front of the camera. But yeah, we're getting to the highway site. We actually got this. This is our land. We've got a plot of land at the highway site. We've got several plots of land, but this is one of them. And we'll get a nice, real fly past, should we say, or drive past, probably more accurately, of Booster 12. This is really cool. I'm going to keep doing questions and thanks, because I like to mix it up. It doesn't have to be a super chat for us to answer a question. We'll do any questions we see. It helps if it's at NASASpaceflight, because that means it doesn't scroll off the end of the screen and we can get into our panel. So that's why we always say do at NASASpaceflight for any question. Chris Fowler has become a Capcom member, so we'll see you in the Discord, because Capcom and above gets you into our Discord, which is a really cool place. Tycon Duranda, which is the name, is a brilliant name. Would there be a similar test campaign once Tower is at 39A is erected? It goes straight to operational, or will it catch a booster launch from Boca? Right, so 39A, sorry, this is your neck of the woods.
Yes.
We know it's not going to be operational until at least next year. And we know it's there, it's built, the tower's there, it's got its chopsticks, it hasn't got its ship quick disconnect, it hasn't got its orbital launch mount. So there's quite a lot of work to do. But do you think once 39A tower is ready, that it will go will it go straight to Starship launches, or will it be involved in some testing first?
Oh no, it's absolutely going to be testing. I feel like you have the difference of the fact that you're talking SpaceX owned land versus SpaceX leased land. 39A, SpaceX has it with a lease through Space Florida, albeit a 20-year lease. It's technically not fully theirs, so I'm sure there's going to be, hey, before you have any issues of potentially exploding boosters, we're in a worst case scenario, we're going to want to see testing. Plus, this tower was erected years ago and has not really been used. As you mentioned, the quick disconnect, they destroyed the orbital launch mount that they originally had there. We had seen aerial imagery of another orbital launch mount that was just sitting outside, but still isn't out there either. I think they're absolutely going to have to do some testing, but I think once they get that testing done, they'll go right into a flight cadence.
Very good.
Yeah, and they can't catch a booster launch from Boca. That's physically impossible. Just to say that. They can't do that.
No, I was going to end on Sawyer because potential point-to-point was still there until you said that. The funny thing about point-to-point is I love the concept, but we've written an article, there's a video coming out about it, and the more I did research for the article, the more I was thinking, this isn't going to happen. This is too challenging. This is not going to happen. Oh, I was just so disappointed in my own research. There we go. Now, we're watching the Boost 12. It's making good progress, I must admit. It is now more than halfway home to the production site. It's going to pass our highway camera, and we'll get the brrr of the SPMTs. And at that point, I might just go a little quiet because I do like listening to that noise. And it might actually drown out my voice, which is not a terrible thing. But that way I will go quiet rather than talking. So I'm keeping an eye on it. Jay, will you tell me if I start getting some loud SPMT noises, and I will go quiet for a bit. And in the meantime, I'll answer some more questions. Tyler asks, would SpaceX consider building a separate road for production site? This is very on topic. A separate road for the production site to the launch site to avoid road closures for transportation. We've always come up with that. I've always thought that would be the case, but they've not done it. I think there's probably planning regulations which stop them from doing that. Ryan, do you know anything about Texas law to back that up?
Well, here, I can hear the SPMTs going right now, so we can let that go.
Let's get that first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's a chine side. Look at this. We're going to get a right close with the chine. Brrr. That's what I'm doing. Doing my own little cold commentary there. What a sight. SPMT ASMR. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, everyone salute in chat. Salute in chat. Let's give Booster 12 a salute.
Is but to scratch. You know, it's really surreal still that this thing was caught and they're rolling it back. Like, we've seen this so many times after testing, but this is after a flight. It's so weird.
But so cool.
Keep talking. I'm going to do a little clip for.
Okay. Yeah. But anyways, to answer the question for the separate road, well, they'd have to build a road through wetlands, which are federally protected and everything like that. And anyways, the production site and launch site are on opposite sides of Highway 4 anyways. I don't know. It wouldn't really do much, to be honest. They could build that road, but the environmental hurdles would be a gigantic pain.
Absolutely, yeah. I am just waiting for. I've got Elon Prime, so I can send out clips that are 1080p as well. Woo, fancy.
Show off.
But it means you have to. It's defaulted to 720 regardless. So you have to literally change it to 1080. But it's just a nice little bit of quality clip. So I like that. I like that little perk you get with premium. Very nice. Thank you, Elon. Right, so Booster 12 is now closing in on the production site. You're thinking, well, this camera view is going to get more and more further away. No, look, we have a camera at the production site. Woo! So we're going to close ups as it arrives down the road. I do like the little palm trees they've put up there on the left-hand side. It looks like they're really trying to make it look pretty. I must admit, the car park lot with the Mars Base Alpha mural, although it does look like it's the V1 ships, the people pointed out very technical. It does look very nice.
Oh no, they're after me. I gotta go.
Is that the Brownsville deputy with his siren? While we're watching this turn around the corner, I'm going to make sure I really do try and answer as many questions as possible because I like to keep this interactive as possible. Let me take Kanan Coupland, who asks, like B1019 and B1021, could B12? How many letters and words are you using here, Caleb? Could B12 go on? I'm old, I can't do this. Could B12 go on display? SpaceX does seem to have some level of sentimentality based on the first Falcons to land. I just really want to see it. I think Booster 12 minus some engines could go on display, but I think the data points are more important. What do you think, Ryan?
I think they'll open up the. I don't think they're going to tear it apart. What they'll do is they'll probably take engines out, look at the shielding, look at the engines, send some engines off. They'll go ahead and open the tanks up, get in there, take a look. But I think once they're all done, assuming they, maybe they take some old R2s and put them in and put the shielding back together. And then I hope they just put it out on display. And I don't want them to fix the chine either. Don't fix the chine. Just leave it with the chine off.
Put it on display with SN15. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Put it on display with Ship 26.
True.
No.
But that's my concern is that they're just going to...
keeping Kevin happy.
They're just going to trash it.
Ship 26 just tarnishes... If it's near Booster 12, it just tarnishes it. No. Get rid of 26.
But what if they reflew Booster 12 with Ship 26?
No.
D. No. By the way, D, I've got a question for you because you have a multitude of clips, I'm sure, from your data gathering equipment. What the heck am I going on about? Your photography stuff, right? RC Horseman asks, it didn't look like the deluge was used during the landing. Have you got any footage showing the deluge system firing up during the catch?
I sure have. So if you go to my Twitter account, it should be my pinned tweet that is from a unique...
No, keep talking. I'm saying hang on because I'm going to find your thing and I'm going to spam chat with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my pinned tweet, it shows a layer of fog on the ground and it has the launch. And then if you go about halfway through there, you'll see it comes into land and it fired up pretty close to landing. And I'm sure all of us were very focused on the rocket at that point in time. But yes, the deluge did fire during the landing.
There we go. I have spam chat with the link to it. That's what I was saying hang on for, because I was literally just trying to open the browser so I could get to your X account and find the pinned tweet and then put it into the chat and spam it like a crazy person, and now everyone can see it. So yeah, very good. So that answers the question as well. So that's a bonus. We got the best of both worlds there. By the way, did you want to see the Cybertruck? The Cybertruck is following the parade. That was quite nice.
It was weird trying to see one yesterday as I was leaving KSC. There was one going in with an employee. I was like, oh yeah, those are normal now.
Yeah, I've not seen one in the mean streets of Yorkshire yet, I must admit. But I think they actually had too wide for our roads. Oops.
They are quite wide, yes.
Yeah. It's not the sort of thing you want to go down a one-lane country lane in North Yorkshire with, because you are going to basically just not get down that road. There's another Cybertruck going the other way. There's Cybertrucks everywhere. Oh, my word. Anyway, quickly moving on. Shinno, thank you for your tip. Hear me out. Fly B13. Oh, my. Buy Fly B13 with Ship 26 for Flight 6, with Ship 26 doing a relight demo, then Fly Booster 13 with Ship 31 for a full orbit, maybe Starlinks, with 31 landing in the Gulf freezer inspection like Booster 11. My word. First of all...
I love this idea.
No.
I'm just going to start. Number one, 26 doesn't have any engines anymore. That's number one. Number two, if they were to supposedly do that, they would have to get special permission from the FAA that burning up 26 would not cause a mishap investigation, and they'd have to dunk it somewhere to safely do that. And number three, Ship 31 landing in the Gulf would also require an environmental review for re-entering ship over Mexico or the United States. Because it would need to do more than one, I think it would need to do more than one orbit to try to do that. Like they'd have to change the inclination or to get to do that. So there's a lot of approvals in there that would take an incredibly long time, and that won't happen. So
Cool.
just shoot it down.
Also, just don't fly Ship 26.
Yep.
Basically, Sawyer, you could have just done that answer, and then we'd moved on to the next question. Because the Ship 26 fan club, look, I get it. It's kind of fun. But it's not going to fly. It really isn't. By the way, people who are saying they got an ad, right? It happens on YouTube. And by the way, we're not the ones supplying the ads. It's based on your own kind of like cookies and locality and things like that. Everyone gets a different ad. So please don't blame us for providing you an ad you don't like, especially a political one. That's not us. It's not us, it's Google, and that's the way YouTube works, unfortunately. It is random. We all get different ones. I get ad about horse feed because I do a lot of searching for horse stuff. There we go.
Which, by the way,
I've got a horse. I mean, they're selling me a product that I'm not going to buy because I don't literally have a horse. Anyway, moving quickly on.
all this stuff with 26 might fly in chat, but it won't fly in real life.
Backfire. Oh my word. Backfire. Flight 7 full orbit. Been watching since Demo 2. Thanks, NSF. Wow. Demo 2. That seems like a world ago now. And it's not. Because we went...
years.
Yeah. It really isn't, though, because you think about it. We went through a massive gap between the end of STS-135 and then Bob and Doug. And now it just seems like it's commonplace to have crew launches again. It's amazing how things change. By the on... That's the username, not me. Became a Red Team member. Thank you for joining. Roger S. Hang on a minute. Is that our Roger S? Gifted 10 Red Team members. Roger, is that you? Are you still on comms? Roger, you're going to have to mute now.
Yeah, it was me just sharing the experience.
Well, thanks to you, Roger, we have 10 new members. And someone just hacked into my account and put Ship 26 is the best ship. I'm Chris B, and these are my secret feelings and thoughts.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Kevin Michael Reed, get off my account. My word. But thank you, Roger. Yes, Roger has gifted 10 Red Team memberships. That means 10 people in chat got gifted a membership for free for a month, thanks to Roger, who's part of our team and out there in Starbase. That's pretty cool if you've got one of those memberships. Roger Tolesa, will Starship be caught on a separate tower and when?
Maybe.
Catching towers, yeah, they're back, aren't they? They're in the 39A
we'll go
plans.
with maybe.
Yeah, maybe. James Howe, does V2 need updated booster? We will see booster 13 or 14 refly. How many of these things can SpaceX test without needing a new launch license? Thank you, guys. Right. So the V2 ship is going to fly on not on the same kind of booster we're seeing right now, Ryan, isn't it? The V2 booster as such isn't going to be until 18 or so.
We're not exactly sure when the first Block 2 booster is going to be. We're still waiting to see. They did roll out they rolled it out of the Star Factory, then rolled it back in. What was it, last night? It was a piece of booster 16, so they might start stacking that thing soon. It was part of the LOX tank. In terms of does Block 2 need a new booster? Block 2 can fly on Block 1 booster. It doesn't need Block 2 booster to fly. So, and we're expecting Ship 33 to fly on booster 14.
Yeah. Again, the fun thing about this is we're talking about these numbers in the future. They're building them. I mean, the amount of vehicles they've got not ready to go, but in production and being prepared for launch is numerous. And then there's what's inside Star Factory. which you can only see, basically you can see nose cones through the window. Mary's got some amazing photographs at night of nose cones being on their little turntables being prepared inside Star Factory. And we're talking several flights down the line here. Several flights. So the cadence of production is there, and then the flight cadence picks up. Game on. We're going to have a very interesting 2025. Telestar86 has gifted a Red Team membership. Thank you, Telestar. That is just, I mean, you've given someone else randomly in chat a membership for a month, which is really cool. As has Jim Cavat, who I see his name all the time. So thank you, Jim. Mad has asking, engine bay glowing from air pressure pushing the cup. How do you think they can fix this? Right. I'm going to put that into the ticker, Ryan, and see if you can work out what we might be talking about, because I can't really work out the glow element of that.
Well, before we do that, it looks like it stopped.
That's good. It gives more time to answer questions.
You know, as I say that, it's moving again.
Okay.
Of course.
But anyways, the engine bay glowing. Oh, if you're talking about the fact that the engine bay was glowing, yeah, that's because Super Heavy does not do an re-entry burn like Falcon 9 does.
Yes.
So basically, that engine bay is exposed to nearly hypersonic airflow, because it's like Mach 4 or something. I think it's exposed to at some point or another, Mach 4 or 5. And it just kind of heats up the cork part of the engine shielding, because there's kind of like a cork area in the engine shielding around there, so it heats, like superheats that, and that's where the glow basically comes from. So the solve is to try to do at least better shielding or get rid of the shielding, which they want to get rid of a lot of it with Raptor 3. I don't know. It's something for the engineers to solve.
Yep, I am now on board with what the reference was about. When we see the booster returning for its catch, it looks like the whole thing is glowing. It really is impressive. It was a beautiful view. In fact, I must admit, I thought that was super impressive, watching this booster, coming in hot. Literally. In every way. I was almost a pun there, Sawyer. It was coming in hot. Yay!
Yeah.
What have you done to it? There's people, all our team in our back room are doing puns every single day. And I'm saying, what has Sawyer done to us all?
Might I remind you that during Flight 1, there was an explicit commentary rule not to make any puns, and now I've got you making them?
Yep, there you go. Puns everywhere.
In reference to that glowing, as mentioned by Alex, the Falcon 9's grid fins glow during reentry, and it's not really a problem, as he calls it. It's a feature, not a bug. We'll have to see if it's a bug, not a feature, on Booster 12. So, yeah. We don't really know. We'll find out.
Shiner asked, we do need a Jack to get a kilt. No, we don't. Jack will not fall for it. Jack's not going to do it. It's very risky to wear a kilt with mosquitoes in the area. Electric Eric, did they remove the FTS? Yes, they did. We watched it happen. That was actually quite interesting, because that was an obvious step that it would do, but we've never had a caught boost before, so it's cool seeing it. And is there footage of putting booster on the orbital launch mount after flight? Yeah, everything. We've done the video, which is the latest Starbase update, which is really, really cool. And that is literally showing you a lot of the process that Dee, Max, Jack, Mary, and all the gang have covered and caught. And there'll be more videos to come as well, because there's still more footage arriving. So you're going to get that as well. Thank you for your support. A question from Ellie Mercier. Do the Center 13 engines only take LO2 from the small tank during the landing burn? Ryan?
So they usually, yeah. One of the things, the reason why the landing tank is there is so you have a pressurized feed to the engines before ignition. And once that does ignite, you basically can force the rest of the LOX that's at the bottom of the tank down, and you can still be able to supply it. So it helps. Having that small tank helps supply the initial firing, and then it also they just drain what's ever left in the LOX tank after that. So yeah,
very good. Jericam, guys, amazing channel. Visited Boca from Scotland 3 weeks ago. Seen Starship rollout, and Jack. You saw Jack. There you go. You saw Jack in the wild. Thank you 100 times. Well, thank you for your support, and also I'm glad you got to meet Jack, because he is certainly a character. Planet 3 became Padre member. Thank you very much. Jeffrey, I love the commentary on Sunday. Do you think they have had a shape Hang on, let's read it again. Do you think they had to shape the roundness off the engine bay after flight to fit the transport stand again? Shape the roundness off the engine bay?
Huh?
I mean, the engine bay itself, I don't think had any severe misshaping to it. Some of the engine bells warped, but I don't think the actual physical ship where the engines are warped.
They were able to lower it into the OLM and use the clamps on it, and they're even able to use the clamps right now, which means the clamp interface, the round clamp interface at the bottom of the engine, the bottom of the booster is entirely fine. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's not an engine bay. It's the engines where the bells and what have you. It was what Elon was talking about when he had the inspection of it. To be fair, when they pulled it off the orbital launch mount earlier today, it looked pretty good to me. I must admit, I thought it looked pretty good. It's only the chine really, which has basically gone blown off, and it's left little shrapnel-looking segments of stainless steel sticking out, as we saw passing the highway camera. Black Shadow. What are your thoughts on the engine bell warping? Speaking of which, what are your thoughts on the engine bell warping observed on Flight 5 booster? Anything that can be done about it? So, what's the mitigation against that, Ryan? What do you think they're thinking at SpaceX?
It could be using engine chill on the outer 20, basically flowing some prop through them. Although that could be a waste of propellant because then you'd be heating it up, and then you're not actually using it to the engines. Or it could be a slight. They could beef up those engine bells. I don't know. There's probably a couple of things they could try. But people might say, "Oh, they could try a reentry burn. Just do the same thing as Falcon 9." Well, SpaceX doesn't really do that because then you need extra propellant to do that, and then that's less payload performance to orbit. So, I think they're going to do everything they can to avoid an entry burn. So, I will see what they come up with.
Zimmy, thank you for all the excitement. Well, thank you for your support, Zimmy, because that's what allows us to provide the excitement that you're excited about. Anonymous, that's the username. A gifted 5 Red Team memberships. Thank you. Clever username as well. You get points for that because most people like me just use a real name. It's like, Pez, gifted Red Team membership. Thank you. Harcy Horseman's back. Gifted 10 Red Team memberships. So many Red Team memberships have been gifted again, which is really cool because that just brings more people in to the membership area of the community, which means they get more content, and more content is more happy. JJD, will you guys not again? What will you guys do if Ship 26 actually flies? Well, I will probably just sort of say, fair enough, I was wrong, but why? Because why are they flying it? But Sawyer, what would you do if Ship 26 flies? That's the question. Let's answer it.
Just cry.
Cry? It's not that bad.
Yeah. No, if it flies, you know what? I will give the head of the Ship 26 fan club, Mr. Kevin Michael Reed, $100.
No, that's my answer now. If Ship 26 flies, the live commentary of that launch stream will be just Kevin Michael Reed.
Yep.
Wait, I can't join in?
Okay,
I want to have a party with Kevin
Okay.
for Ship 26
Be in the field.
flight. That is definitely going to happen.
Okay, so the Ship 26 launch stream will be produced by Kevin Michael Reed, hosted by Kevin Michael Reed, with D in the field.
Yep.
There we go. That's what we'll do. There we go. That's the question better than anything else. Here comes the SPMTs with Booster 12 on top.
Also, by the way, Ryan Gayton in the back channel saying he would resign if that happens.
Yeah, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. He's too busy. He'd resign because he knows he's got a job at the BBC. Because that was the question earlier, right? Robin Stevenson asks, at DPod D Dolphin Productions, that's his username. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No ads during your BBC interview, though. Yes, I know, because we pay for it. That's why. The Americans don't know that. Well, you literally have to pay it. It's actually a legal thing. You got to pay for it for the BBC, regardless if you watch the BBC or not. So there we go. That's what it's
I totally have a TV license when I watch BBC programming using a VPN.
Don't even joke about that, sorry. It'll come and get you. Right. But yes, Ryan did an excellent job, and no joking involved here because he really did. during his it was like no notice at all as well. BBC sent us an email saying, "Do you want to come on and do an interview live on BBC?" And we said, "Well, I'm busy, so Ryan, can you go on?" Ryan said yes, and Ryan did a far better job than I would have done. So there we go. Well done, Ryan. It was excellent. Booster 12 is turning into the production site towards the Mega Bay where it's going to reside. This is a big deal. This is really cool. This is a caught booster. Yes, they caught the booster, everybody. It's gone on forever.
They caught it.
They caught. Oh, here we go.
The booster.
Oh, God.
I mean, come on, Chris. It's nuts.
It is nuts. Yeah, I must admit. And there's Star Factory to the right. Mega Bay 2 at the back. Mega Bay 1 on the left, and then High Bay on the left as well.
So now at the production site, we've got it's here in High Bay. We've got Ship 31 getting its heat shield redone. We've got in Mega Bay 1, we've got Booster 15, which just finished stacking like about a month ago or so. Then you have Booster 13 and Booster 14 in there. 13 should have all its engines. 14 should be starting to get its engines. And then in Mega Bay 2, you've got Ship 33, which should be going for a cryo at some point. And they're starting to build Ship 34. And now a caught booster. So, yeah, that's your vehicle update.
Awesome. That is actually really good, because I always forget which one's which, where about they're all located and where they are. And that is a nice little reminder of what's coming up as well, because they're, talking about launch vehicles here.
Look at all
really
those
cool.
employees there. Watching their work watch all their work come back.
What were you
That's
saying
the
about
parade.
the parade or the?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, I was saying Victory Parade, and that. Are they waving? Are they waving at the booster?
They
They're
absolutely are.
waving and saluting the booster as it comes back here.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
Damn it,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I find. I'll go back after this live stream and just point it out again because I thought it was really cool. That is. Oh, look at them all. That is really nice.
That's their hard work returning after a flight. That's really, really cool.
Wow.
Andrew Berg, gift a Red Team membership. I want to make sure I recognise everybody who's supporting us because I think it's important. We've been answering questions from people who just put out a spaceflight and they don't have to do a super chat. Always do that. We always do it on a stream. But I want to make sure the ones who did support us always get a reference anyway because that's important. Scaly Fluffiness, who else noticed the grid fins bending from thermal expansion briefly during staging? Wouldn't that lead to failures from straining and bending? Anyone see the bending with the grid fins?
I think they got slightly warped a little bit due to the hot staging, but it's a little bit hard to tell 100%.
Yeah. These are fun things. We're going to get more videos from SpaceX, including the highlight video that we yet to see. They always do a long highlight video. So we should get a lot more views of hot staging. We'll get to look at that closely. I didn't notice it at the time, I must admit. I did not notice it at the time, but we'll keep a very close eye on it when we get more video footage from SpaceX, because they're the ones who'll have the footage. They're the ones with the onboard cameras. We couldn't send Jack to space this time round, unfortunately. Yes! Jess, any chance to have other Starship launched this year? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very much chance of Flight 6 being this year, and maybe even November. We'll keep a close eye on it, but it's a long way to go until we get to that point and have some confidence with it, but there's every chance. Rob Talessa, does Starship have the same catch pins as Booster?
No.
Nope.
Not yet. That's a problem. That's a thing they still have to solve. So.
Touring 4 time 4x4. Yes, the chine did blow out. We're yet to find out any more detail of that. I'm sure Elon might mention something. He's not immune from mentioning things that were off nominal. It was a small thing in the bigger picture because they caught booster. Yes, they caught the booster. Milo's 3D. My family knew I spend time watching metal cylinders drive around for a bit. I would be institutionalized. Thanks for the never-ending coverage. Your family, I'm sure, are very aware of your interest in these cylinders, these steel cylinders moving around, and it's to your credit because there's a lot of other subject matters you might be into which are far less important than this. This is an important subject matter, so credit to you, and your family should recognize that. Amriel, I would make Ship 26 fly with C4, lols.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the vehicles already fly with C4. The flexible shape charges that are the FTS, they fly with that anyways. So, I mean,
oh,
I would just put a full payload of C4 on it and then blow it as soon as after stage sep or something. If it did fly,
we're full of Ship 26 to go. Yeah, hang on. Matt PD. If Ship 26 flies, it's Chris versus Jack in a game of polo wearing kilts. No, it's not. It really ain't. I mean, it's bad enough Jack having mosquitoes with kilts. It's worse seeing my pale legs in a kilt. So it's not going to happen.
Do I need to film it in slow-mo?
Yeah.
Oh my word, that's just torture. It's bad enough in real time, D. Never mind seeing my pale legs in slow-mo. Travis Cecil, of all the ships named Ship 26, Ship 26 is the best Ship 26. That is the comment. I'm reading it out. Literally, as I read it out. It was not my comment. It's not my personal opinion. Yeah, quote unquote. Stephen Baxter, just a reminder for Jack, Marvin the Martian wears a kilt. It's part of the Martian armor. It's not easy being green. JC Davis, do you think Ship 31 is the next SN16?
No. Because SN16 never fully finished assembly. Ship 31 has been cryoed and static fired, and SpaceX tweeted that it's the Flight 6 vehicle, so it's not the next SN16.
Yeah. Jonathan Tucker with a question. When do you think they will catch both booster and the Starship? Right. So I know Elon's been making noises about that potentially being next year, the fully reusability catching element of things. When do we think? I'm going to start with Sawyer. So when do you think we'll see the first double catch, the booster being caught and the ship being caught?
Ooh. Well, I mean, at this point, just based off of the speed at which they took to get this off of the tower, I think to do that, you would need both towers for now. So I think we're still at least a year away. I mean, they are doing that second tower very quickly here, but I still think it would probably be early 2026, maybe end of next year, but I think we're still about a year away just from my guess. Plus, we still haven't seen the next versions of the ship fly. I think they wouldn't do it until we see that next version fly at least once.
Yep. Quick reminder, Ryan. What's in Mega Bay 1 right now? Because there's people asking, is there room in Mega Bay 1 for Booster 12?
Yes, there's room. On the left, looking at from this view, on the left turntable is Booster 15 fully stacked. On the center stand is Booster 14. On the right workstand is Booster 13. So there is an opening on the left workstand for Booster 12 to go on.
Very good. Quick thanks. Simon the Mac, who I'm a Bradford City fan from our Discord. I know you because you're in Sports Ball. Thank you for 5 gifted Red Team memberships. Very much appreciated. Up the bantams. Josh, what chances they're trying to relaunch a booster? What is the chance in trying to relaunch a booster? I assume when they're going to refly a booster would be more pertinent a question. I'm thinking it's a while away still. I mean, again, don't bet against SpaceX. I'm sure they're probably thinking, let's do it as soon as possible. But we're getting closer with the Corp booster. That they're going to get good data of the engines, and that data from the engines from Booster 12 will give them some reliability potential of flying a booster after being caught. With the same engines, they have the option of flying a booster that's been caught with replaced engines. That's a thing. What do you think, Ryan?
They could do that with one of the boosters. I don't think it's going to be this one. They could do, assuming 13, so maybe is a little bit better off, and they have to replace some engines. Maybe they roll it back in, replace some engines, and try to refly it. I would not rule it out with SpaceX. It's hard to rule anything out with SpaceX these days.
Very good. Ryan asks, not you, Ryan, but Ryan in chat asks, also with Starship Catch coming up very soon, how do you think they will go about catching it with the booster on the launch pad?
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that is. We've seen renders, but they're renders, and we know that it doesn't necessarily mean it's accurate. So, have you got any thoughts?
I mean, we did just put a short out, by the way. I don't know who made it, but I'm sure it's great. About
was it you, Sawyer?
It was me, yes. Basically, I took the original SpaceX rendering that they posted of what the catch would look like and compared it with our cameras. It was almost pixel for pixel. It was crazy how close it was from what they thought it was going to be to what it actually looked like from our cameras. I still think it's going to be a little bit away. Their original plan, of course, is to get the booster off of the pad and then catch it. I think once we get to orbital flights, it's a potential. If it's a couple-day mission, hey, leave it up there for a couple days, give them time to take the booster off and get the ship going. As for long-term, for rapid turnaround, that I'm not sure at the moment.
Very good.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
We can, Jack. Is that Jack? It's a wild Jack. Hello, Jack.
Wild Jack.
I'm not robotic. Hooray!
No.
Yeah, even with a single orbit, right? That's like what, 90 minutes. So at some point, SpaceX is going to be able to get a booster set back down onto a transport stand after being caught in 90 minutes or less, or your pizza's free. So even in the case of a Starship doing a single orbit, they have 90 minutes roughly. It's not exactly 90 minutes. It might take multiple orbits to phase back over the landing site, et cetera, et cetera. But point is, they have time. The only time you're going to have a ship landing immediately after a booster has been caught is if it's like a different ship and they're just in some sort of insane cadence where a new ship is coming in right after the same booster has launched a previous ship. I mean, I don't know. That's probably a couple years out, but we'll. I know we're all eagerly awaiting when that happens. It's only a matter of time.
Surprisingly clear comms from you, Jack. There, you've obviously got the internets to work very well. There was no robotic noises whatsoever there. Are you at the production site, Jack?
I was. I was at the launch site. The booster went past me. Then I followed it up Highway 4. And now I'm at the NSF river lot, which is why I have good comms.
Right.
I'm packing out some of the last stuff from launch, and I'm going to be headed back into town and get some rest.
Because it was kind of funny at the production site. They had all the workers out lined up either side of the entrance into the Mega Bay area, and they were all like giving it like a wave and a salute on the way in. It was really kind of cute.
Still there.
Yeah.
That was really cool. You could see all the SpaceX workers kind of ushering the booster back home. That was really nifty.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and bandicam that bit and put it onto X because that was really nice. I did a clip as it was turning the corner, but I think I ended the clip just before the booster had not eclipsed all the workers that were lined up either side. That was really cool. So that was really nice. Tom V. How would they catch a ship at Starbase? It'll be coming in from the west, but the chopsticks point to the east. Ryan?
Yeah, that's going to be a tricky one on Pad A. They'd have to do that flip. The flip is at like 500 meters, and then they'd have to, get it all vertical and everything, and then get it in between the sticks. It's going to be interesting how they do it. They catch
I think it'll look a lot like the low altitude hops. I mean, even with those, the flip and burn, there's a bit of a flare at the end of the flip once it's vertical. If you look at that composite I did of SN10, you can sort of see it. The ship flips out and then comes back in. So it'll be tricky with Pad A for sure, but. I bet they could do it. I bet we'll see something a lot like the low altitude hops, where the ship does some crazy dancing around in the air as it comes back. I mean, I think with the booster alone yesterday, oh God, was it yesterday? They've proven that they can. 2 days ago, I don't even. What is time? They've proven that they can control these vehicles very well. I'll stop talking now. My brain is mush.
Understandable, Jack.
Active 3X, will we get a Starbase progression video since they are finishing up? Jack, will we get a Starbase progression video? Have we got some plan of that maybe in the planning?
Sure. I've been so head down in the production side of things. I'm not sure what we're planning post-wise, but rest assured, we're going to do a lot of cool stuff with all of the insane footage that the whole entire team has captured over the last couple days. I just saw some 4K 120 frame second footage that Mary shot from our south lot. Oh my god, you guys. The sonic boom at landing. Oh my god. The shockwave going through the clouds. Like, we have insane footage for days.
I need to see it. I need to see that. I want to. I need pings when things get put into our secret areas before they get made into public videos. I need to see it so I can have a look myself. I'm eager to see that. That sounds amazing. Wayne asks, "Does the ship need to be caught?" I'm going to put the emphasis on need. Does it need to be caught, or could it land? Because let's face it, the Starship's going to the moon. Where are you going to be landing on landing legs? But as an alternative, let's pretend in the future that SpaceX go, well, hang on a minute, we've got the booster catch right. The ship catch is it's asking a bit too much. Pretend. Let's make the assumption and pretend that. Could they alternate and say, well, okay, let's put the ship back onto a land landing like an LZ-1 within range of Mechazilla where it can pick it up again afterwards? What do we think? Ryan. Sorry, Ryan.
Yeah, they could. They don't have to catch the ship. The whole point of catching the ship is to place it right back on a booster and launch it right away again. And whatnot is to reduce turnaround times, because if you land it on legs, then you have to go grab it with either a crane or some kind of specialized transporter to pick it up and then stow the legs again and then get it over to the launch site, get it over to the pad again and then lift it. So there's extra GSE that you need to do or whatnot for that. So I think they'll catch it on Earth, but they'll have to land it like on the moon and Mars, because obviously you're not going to have towers built there. Not anytime soon, anyways.
Yeah. Sawyer, they had all the data to extrapolate from Falcon 9 landings. I had faith the whole time. Were any of you guys skeptical? I'll go first. That is a very good point about the Falcon 9 landings. A guy called Lars Blackmore was highly involved with the programming and the actual solutions to bringing back a Falcon 9 booster onto the drone ships into LZ-1, LZ-2. He is now head of principal landing, Mars landing manager for SpaceX. So he's moved from Falcon 9 landings to Starship landings, and he's very much involved. You heard him on the actual live stream. The English voice was Lars Blackmore talking about the return of ship during Flight 5, and you heard him on Flight 4 as well. So that's where my confidence was, that they had all that experience and moved into Starship from the Falcon 9 landings into Starship. So I was always very confident. My personal opinion was confidence all the way through. So I wasn't all that skeptical. What were you? Were you, Sawyer?
In regards to which one, Starship or Falcon?
Starship.
I mean, yeah, honestly, I'll say it. Yes, I absolutely was. I was skeptical back in the day, too, of Falcon 9, and I was very happy to, as the expression goes, not actually eat crow. I was so wrong. I thought it would be a ridiculous idea. It seemed crazy expensive, and there was no way they could get a cadence to make it viable. They've done every single one of those things. As for this, you're talking, the largest rocket, most powerful rocket ever built and flown here. I thought it was a crazy idea to go for the catch tower. Why not go for the one with the legs that we now know works? And again, I know what I'm having for dinner. It's theoretically crow. I was wrong, and I'm happy to admit it.
Don't say that in front of Gage.
You heard it here first, folks. Sawyer said he's literally going to actually, for real, eat crow, actual literal crow.
Hey.
Sawyer said it.
Hey.
Sawyer said it, everybody.
Watch it, Jack.
Make a night,
Ryan?
Go ahead.
Ryan, were you
yes.
what confidence levels of Starship based on, with the caveat of how successful they've been with Falcon 9s? Were you still a bit dubious about how it would work with Starship, or were you added confidence because of the experience with Falcon 9?
There's a little bit of added confidence with how they've been with Falcon 9. I was just because as following this as much as I have been, it's like, okay, this I can tell this vehicle's more controllable because you're running on 3 engines rather than one, and that's for both Starship and Super Heavy on landings. It's far more controllable. It's heavier. It's a little bit more stable. So with that in mind, and how good SpaceX's software is, I was pretty confident they would pull it off. I didn't think they'd do it first try, but I was pretty confident they would eventually get it. So, yeah.
Very good. Jack,
Yeah.
while you're here, Jack, were you confident in this based on what you'd seen with the success of Falcon 9? Were you confident or skeptical that they'd bring it back?
With Falcon 9 definitely gave some confidence. when they first announced the whole arms catch thing, definitely was like, what the heck, just put legs on it. But over time, as we've seen more and more full stack flights, especially Flight 4, with how well Ship did, I've been saying as much in our recent broadcasts, I thought that if they went for the catch, they would succeed. And they went for it and they succeeded. And I honestly was surprised, don't get me wrong, but I was also like, yep, that tracks, because they've clearly, as Ryan said, demonstrated mastery of control of both the booster and the ship at this point. And the thing that gave me the most confidence, I would say, would be Ship re-entering on Flight 4 so well. It's insane. It's insane.
I see D is unmuted. So D, I'm going to send you the same question. Your confidence levels based on your experience of seeing how well Falcon 9, which you obviously film a lot because you're from the Cape. Your confidence levels based on Falcon 9, were you pretty much optimistic that Starship would pull it off?
Not on this flight. That's for sure. Like, Flight 4 was really cool to see ship reentry, but I mean, I didn't think there was a high likelihood that they would actually go for a booster catch this time. And then I wasn't thinking they would actually manage to catch it successfully. So I'm happy to have that small percentage chance that I gave it come through, because it was wild watching this booster now roll back to the production site from the launch site.
Very good. A few quick thanks before we end this. We'll move it all to Starbase Live, which means you're getting the same views, no difference. The only difference being is you'll get the sound of Starbase rather than me muttering on. So it's a bit of a bonus, if anything. Then we're going to move to Starbase Live. But I want to thank Norris, became a Red Team member. Tarragon asks, Elon said the booster could pull off SSTO single stage to orbit with no payload. Why couldn't a booster fly from Boca to the Cape if it didn't have Starship slowing it down? We're still talking orbital velocity, aren't we, Ryan?
I don't know how far the booster could go on just its the full tanks alone.
Yeah.
Just to say this, and let me do this math real quick here. Real quick. Let me just tell you how far away that is. It's not close.
No, it's not.
Spoiler, it's not close. Like, just for basic, as the crow flies, 239A is over 1,000 miles. Yeah.
Also worth noting that goes over land too.
Yeah. A Starship is one thing, but the booster, in order to get an apogee high enough to do that, the booster has to go into space, and it doesn't have any TPS. No.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Let's put it that way. And by the way, I do love SSTOs. I'm a big fan of the X-33 Venture Star back in the day during my shuttle knowledge gathering time. And
yes.
Yes, thank you, Jack. Another fan of the X-33 Venture Star, and that was an SSTO that would launch from Edwards Air Force Base and be basically, it was a flying fuel tank basically, and it was ahead of its days. Torrey Bruno worked on that from ULA. He worked on that.
They started. Yeah. They just had to finish it.
It was sci-fi. It was proper sci-fi looking vehicle. It was great. I mean, I say look sci-fi looking vehicle now. Starship is just amazing. Everything about Starship is awesome. So yeah, I love SSTO, but it's massive challenge. I know it's more of a challenge than it needs to be, and that's why the approach that all companies are taking right now is probably the best. Really is. They know what they're doing. On that bombshell, I think we should end this, but I want to thank some people first. I'm going to start with Jay because I never thank the production people, so I'm going to start with Jay. Thanks to Jay in the background, pulling the levers, making sure the cameras were moving and the scenes were changing, and we followed this Booster 12 return back from the launch site after being caught. Yeah, they caught the booster. They got me in that as well now, doing it all the time. They caught the booster. Oh, wow, yeah. It's going to wear very thin before long. But it is amazing. They've caught the booster and they're taking it off the orbital launch mount. They've rolled it back down Highway 4. They're putting it into Mega Bay 1 and they're going to get a lot of data from this. A lot of data that's going to play in with more success for the Starship's end goal of being fully and rapidly reusable. So thank you to Jay in the background for providing the views for us to talk over. Speaking of which, who was talking over and providing the views was D. Thank you, D, for providing views and talking at the same time during this live stream. Thank you very much, D.
Of course, always fun to be here. It's a great day to be in Starbase any day.
And we also had Jack as well. Jack providing the views and the camera views and also popping in for commentary as well. Thank you, Jack.
Yep.
Yep. There we go. We also had Roger pop in for a second. I wonder if Roger's going to mute and just say hello, because Roger does so much behind the scenes. Here he is. He's turning his mic off. Thank you, Roger, for joining.
Oh, thank you, Chris. This has just been an extraordinary experience, not only to experience the flight, but watching the whole production team and work. It's just an honor to be part of it.
And how bonkers those three people I just read out. They're all there at Starbase right now. Literally there. They're there at Starbase. That is so cool. Also, thank you to Ryan. Thank you, Ryan.
It's a pleasure as always, Chris. They caught the booster. But anyways, yeah, it's surreal seeing this thing back at the launch site. Back at the production site. Well, it went back to the launch site anyways. But anyways, words. Thanks, Chris.
Very good. And also thank you to Sawyer. Thank you, Sawyer.
Thank you. I mean, this was absolutely exciting. And again, check out that short just because I love shorts. It's also some stuff on the socials. Don't forget to follow the socials if you haven't already. They're awesome. And this is so cool. And guess what? They got the booster.
Oh, I'll say two things there. Sorry, you mentioned the social. I'm going to do that in case you didn't, but you did it. So thank you very much for that, because the social team do amazing work. And they always say, please mention the socials. And it's not something they should even have to ask us to do, because they do amazing work on X, on Facebook, on Threads, on TikTok, all the things, all the socials, all the things I'm too old for. We're all over the place, basically. So thank you to the team for working on that, because they're Cybertruck spotted. There's lots of things going on in there which helps us cover everything that we're putting out, which is important to keep everyone informed. Also, thank you for joining us and thank you for all your support. It was very much appreciated. Again, we do not expect all this support. I say it every single time, to the point it sounds like it's scripted. It's not scripted. I say it from the heart. We do not expect the support. The support gets put into great use into providing more coverage, because we've got plans. We have big plans, and I'm terrible for being leaking things, so I'm very careful not to leak things. But we're always looking at the next thing we can do. Things you see us doing now are things we planned years ago, and things we've got planning for years to come are very ambitious, but you'll get to see it gradually be integrated into our coverage. So your support allows us to go out and buy those things, because we could not do it on our own. So very much appreciated. Quick couple of thanks, because they came in very late. Ninja Decimator and Space Perp with some support. Space Perp did a massive one. Space be with you, and with you too, Space Perp. There we go. Thank you very much. So very much appreciate it. I'm going to quickly put you in a ticker. My brain goes after about an hour, so we've done an hour and a half. So I'm starting to mumble. Sorry, what was that?
You're not going to read about the bagels?
Well, remind me. My brain's gone. You mentioned bagels.
Decimator was talking about with.
Oh right, crow would go great with bagel on garlic, herb, cream, cheese, soya. Soya, back me up on that one, because I would not
in the
have
Discord.
Herb cream.
There was a whole thing with Jack and I about being a bagel purist and not this.
Yeah,
crazy...
Sawyer has wrong opinions about bagels. That's the TLDR.
No, Jack does. Who needs a cheddar jalapeno Asiago and that bagel? No, play
me. I do.
Seeds.
Inject it into my veins. You can't get a good bagel in Brownsville.
I'll take an everything bagel with a plain cream cheese. I'm a basic person.
That's great. That's a bagel.
Man, now I want a bagel so bad.
I was literally just saying my brain was going, so we were ending the stream, and then we start getting bagel conversation about garlic herb. Oh no!
Yeah, Chris, it's a new member feature. It's bagel chat. It's a new member feature.
For those who are in the members Discord, and if you're not, Discord is Capcom and above.
You know what? I'm going to end this live stream before
Jack, when I go get bagels.
Hey, Chris, can I bring us back on track? I just want to remind you that they caught a booster.
Oh no!
Yeah, let's go get bagels and not go with Max. Let's not tell Max. Also, Roger, I stole all the cold food out of your fridge. It's delicious.
This has devolved quickly.
But also,
it's
Booster
all yours,
12 is the
Jack.
best booster, and Ship 26 is the best ship. Just want to remind everybody. But they caught a booster. Bye.
Jay, you know there's a stop button on the stream. Can you press it?
Play the outro, quick.
And here we go.
chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, with planet.
Water towers, fly! Yes! Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside speed off. Bring in SPD off. It's orange!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Décollage.
Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go. Indeed. We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You bet. We don't need any more of these.